All right, we are live streaming now. Throw this down real quick here. It's because it's using that. I didn't think about that one, did I? No, I didn't. All right, well, let me see here. Maybe I can. All right, so we are about ready to get going. It's a little after about noon right now, and so we are live streaming both here on Facebook as well as YouTube, and it will be saved on our YouTube channel for people to watch later on if they desire. Let's get going. So hey guys, Matt Simmons here, and with the Matt Simmons Group as well as MatthewSimmons.com. You know me. If you don't, check us out. Check me out, MatthewSimmons.com, MatthewSimmons.com. Today, I want to talk about something that is a huge issue with not only real estate agents but salespeople in general. And it's a major issue when it comes to sales, closing the deal, and basically continuing to grow your business. And I see it day in and day out. It's something that I train a lot of agents on. It's something that I train my agents on. It's something that I preach and practice daily with not only my business, but my agents as well as people that I coach along as well. And so today, during our Wednesday free coaching session that I do every week, we are going to talk about why you are missing the sale. And there can be lots of reasons that you're missing the sale, but really what it ends up boiling down to first and foremost, or primarily when you really dive into it, is the fact that your follow-up sucks, guys. I'm just going to be honest with you. And why does your follow-up suck? Well, honestly, it's because most people don't understand the sales process and what goes into the sales process. So today we're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to talk about the sales process. We're going to talk about the steps to the sales process. And keep in mind, guys, the sales process hasn't changed in forever. The same steps still go into it. You have to follow those steps in order to close a client, to close the deal, to make things happen. And a lot of times I find people skipping one of those steps, and ultimately that's why their deal falls apart, or that's why they can't even convert their lead to an actual client. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to basically cover these processes. We're going to cover the 6 steps to the sales process, what goes into each step, and then we're going to really focus and talk today about the follow-up that needs to be done to convert any lead to from the lead stage to an actual client paying customer stage. And so there's a lot that goes into that, and especially with technology and the internet and social media, generating leads and generating that inbound business is the easy part, which I can show anybody and anyone how to generate their own inbound leads, and set them up basically on autopilot. But it's where it's the conversion process that everyone seems to have an issue with, and that people keep falling flat on their face, because they follow up once, they follow up twice, they follow up 3 times, and if they haven't been able to convert or even talk to that lead by that point, they get all frustrated, and they stop following up. And ultimately, that's why you don't convert a lot of your new leads and into actual business, is because your follow-up just isn't where it needs to be. And there's a lot of ways to automate that follow-up so that it's just constantly done for you on a daily basis, but most people don't either know how to do that, B, don't understand how to set it up, or C, just don't want to take the time to set it up so that it's done for you. And so we're going to cover a lot of those today as well, and different ways to automate that follow-up, different platforms to use to help automate that follow-up, as well as different things you need to be doing to automate that follow-up, and then also manually do some follow-up to help you take that lead from that lead stage to an actual paying client stage. So let's dive right in, guys. Today we're going to talk about the sales process to begin with. And I don't care whether you're a real estate agent, a car salesperson, a door-to-door salesperson, an IT salesperson, a pharmaceutical salesperson, whatever it may be, these steps don't change. You just have to basically take it and plug it into your industry, right? And so let's kind of talk about what these 6 steps are. There's 6 steps to the sales process. And guys, at the end of this, I do have a PDF I'm happy to share with everyone, and I can email that to you. So make sure that if you're watching this, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube Live or whatever it is, that you post a comment with your email address, and we'll make sure to send this out to you, so that you have this guide basically to basically look back on and kind of use as a cheat sheet. So what are the 6 steps to the sales process? Well, we have prospecting initially. That's step number 1, right? That's where you're basically doing your farming. You're finding out who you want to reach out to. You're trying to get in touch with them. You're setting specific areas. You're using your database, whatever it might be, right? Second is you're initiating contact. Well, how are you doing that? Is it by phone? Is it by email? Is it by text? Is it by social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it may be? Is it direct mail? Whatever you're doing to initiate contact in that second step is extremely important. 3, I call it the pre-appraisal, but it's your fact-finding stage, right? You're diving in and you're asking them the questions that you need to ask them to find out where they are at in their buying process, basically, because it's like we have a sales process, but they also have a buying process, right? And it's the same thing for everyone, right? And so your job is to gather information, find out what it is that they're looking for, find out what their problem is, because basically people buy for one reason, and that is they have a problem and you have a solution. And otherwise they're not going to buy, because if you don't have a solution to their problem, most of the time they're not going to spend the money on what you have to offer. 4th step is demo or selection, showing them the solution to their problem, and how it fixes their problem. That's key. You have to show them how it solves their issue that they are currently having, guys. And without being able to effectively show them how that solves their problem, again, you're going to lose out on the sale. And now you can start kind of seeing, once we're able to break these sales steps out, we still have a couple more steps to go, but you're kind of able to see now by thinking, if you miss any one of these steps, you're not going to convert that lead into a paying customer, paying client, right? Because you're skipping a step, and all these steps are very important. The 5th step is basically your proposal, right? You are showing them what it's going to cost them how much it's going to cost them to solve that problem with what you have to offer, right? So let's kind of give some examples, right? Okay, so you guys hire me and my company to do some coaching for you, right? Well, what is our proposal? Our proposal is we're going to help you double your business over the next 12 months, right? Well, okay, how are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to show you through an outline that we have that's customized for you individually on how exactly we are going to take you from A to Z over the next 12 months to double your business. And that's going to cost you X, right? If all you say is this is going to cost you $1,000 a month or $500 a month, but you don't show them what they're getting for that $500 a month or $1,000 a month or whatever it might be, people aren't going to pay it, right? And so again, if you're skipping out on the proposal step and proposal stage, you're not going to close the business. Now, let's talk about the last step. The last step is probably one of the most important steps, and this is where a lot of people basically fall flat on their face, as well as the initiate contact stage. And that is, you have to close the deal. How do you close the deal? Guys, there are so many different ways to close the deal. The assumptive close, the aggressive close, the passive close, whatever it might be, but you have to ask for the business. If you don't ask for the business, they're not going to give it to you most likely, unless they're just one of those people that just falls in your lap and buys from you regardless. And so this is why there's that saying in real estate, at least, that 95% of all real estate is sold by 5% of the agents, right? And if you're in real estate, think about it. Which one are you really? You know, I can pretty much guarantee most of the people that we talk with or that we work with on a daily basis or that we coach on a weekly basis fall into that 95% of people that are not selling the majority of the real estate. And our goal is to take them from that 95% and convert and move them over to that 5% of the people that are selling the majority of the real estate. And that's because our process will walk them through everything here, and we actually teach them how to ask for the sale, guys. And so without asking for the sale, most of the time, you're not going to get it. So let's kind of recap here a little bit. What are the 6 steps? Prospecting, initiate contact, fact finding, selection / demoing, you know, showing them the solution, your proposal as far as what it's going to cost and how it and how it's going to fix their issue, and then asking for the sale, guys. Again, you got to ask for the sale to get it. And you know, let's dive in a little bit deeper into each one of these steps. And so let's talk about prospecting, right? Prospecting, we're finding out who are our sales targets, who are our people that we want to sell to. And then we have to create a pipeline of all those people, right? So you need to have a database. Well, what's the best way to create a database? It's by using a CRM, a customer relationship manager, because the goal is to have so many leads in your pipeline that you can't manage them all through utilizing just Outlook or a spreadsheet or whatever. Guys, that's the goal. You need a full pipeline in order to be able to consistently have an influx of business and consistently sell. And I see so many salespeople, and this is why it's so important, because in sales, I see so many people that are looking for the right now, right? They need to sell something right now because they live from commission check to commission check to commission check because they don't build that pipeline out, guys. Without a pipeline built out for 12, 18, 24 months, you're constantly going to be searching for that next immediate deal. And by changing your mindset and creating that pipeline by building out your database in a CRM and setting a priority to your leads, such as hot, warm, cold, and future, you can now start to build that big pipeline so that you have business for right now, you have business for 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now, and even 24 months from now, so that you always have a full pipeline. Now, guys, again, once you build that out, it takes maintenance and you're going to consistently have to add to it. But that's what it takes in order to build a consistent sales business, no matter what industry you're in. Then you have to create a sales pitch and scripts, right? You need to have a sales pitch and you need to have your scripts dialed in so that when you're calling these people or you're meeting these people in person, it's just second nature, right? You know what needs to be talked about, you know how to talk about it, and it's just you need to be looked at like you're the expert, and you need to sound that way too, right? Now, once you have all that done, then you can kind of start backing in your goals so that you know how many calls you need to make each day to set the number of meetings that you need to make to set each week, and make how many pitches each day. This is how you're setting yourself up for success, guys. As I say, fail to plan, plan to fail, right? If you don't build out your plan by starting here in this initial step, you're going to fail. You need a steady stream of prospects to be continuously filling your pipeline so you can create the sales and increase your business. It's just step one, and it's one of the most important. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into step two, guys, and this is where you're making that contact, right? And so in this stage, it's important. You need to be making contact with your leads and your prospects through any way you possibly can. Start dialing, emailing, greeting them, sending them messages on Facebook, on LinkedIn, reverse prospecting them online or in white pages, right, guys? You have to get in front of these people. Now, and it doesn't matter whether it was an inbound lead or whether you're calling them out of the blue. You have to use every form you can of communication to get in front of them. With technology nowadays, it's very, very easy for people to dodge your contact or dodge your call or whatever it might be. So you have to use every form you possibly can. Let's talk about this a little bit more in regards to real estate and real estate agents, right? We can set you up with inbound leads, right, that are automatic. They're just automated daily. You're getting leads every single day from potential buyers and sellers, right? But if you don't have your follow-up, which is this stage, the contact stage, if you don't have your follow-up dialed in, and this is where I see the biggest, this is where people make the biggest mistake, and this is where people drop the ball the most. If you don't have your follow-up dialed in, you're not going to convert those leads. And that's what I tell all of our agents that we train. I call it the 10 days of pain, right? For the 10 days after you receive that new lead in your inbox or in your CRM, you need to be using every form of communication you can to get yourself in front of this potential client, this potential buyer or seller. And that means phone, email, text, direct mail, Facebook messaging, LinkedIn messaging, Twitter, if they have Twitter, reverse looking them up online, white pages, whatever it might be. Any possible way you can to get in front of these people to convert them to an actual buyer or a seller, in our case, you need to be doing. Guys, what's the average number of touches it takes before you're able to convert an online lead to someone that's actually engaging with you? It's 14 to 16 touches, right? That means you need to reach out to these people at least 14 times before, on average, they will respond to you or follow up with you in any sort of way. But yet most people stop after the second or third failed try. Guys, you're leaving so much business on the table by not continuously following up with these people. And you know what? They might not be ready right now. It might be a 3-month process or a 6-month process or a 12-month process. But if you're not continuously following up with them and staying top of mind, when they are ready, they're not going to think about you. They're going to go somewhere else, even though they might have originally sent in their information to you because they were interested. So you have to stay top of mind with these people. It's sales 101, guys. And yes, as real estate agents or whatever, we are salespeople first and foremost. I'm so sick of the bullshit that I constantly see where agents say, I'm not a salesperson, we're matchmakers. No, bullshit. You're a salesperson because you have to sell yourself first to convert that potential buyer or seller to an actual client of yours that's going to work with you before you can start the matchmaking process of finding them the right home. Stop it. You're salespeople Learn the sales process first so that you can actually get the business to be able to put them into the right home. Do not pitch your product too early, guys. Make sure not to waste time and talk about nonsense because you're just starting in the engagement process, right? You have to build that rapport. If you start to sell too soon, you will ultimately scare that lead and potential client away. This is just the beginning of your outreach. Some industries will be easier. Some industries will not be as easy. Some will take an in-person approach, or will require an in-person approach. Some will text message, email, or phone, or whatever it might be, might work better. It's about creating the initial contact, starting to build a rapport with that lead, and this is where you can start to kind of build and learn what that client or that need or that lead's wants and needs and problems are once you're able to get a hold of them, which using whatever method you use. Let's talk about step 3. We're gonna dive into step 3 here, deeper. Sorry, guys. Oh, it is Wednesday, I guess. So step 3, we're identifying needs, right? We're identifying the needs of the potential client by asking them questions. And it's not asking yes or no questions, guys. Yes or no questions allows that lead to keep that barrier up in front of you guys and not really engage deeply with you. So when we're talking about finding out what the potential needs are, it's about asking all the right questions. Let's talk about real estate, for example. Why are you looking to buy a new home? Okay. And that answer is going to vary depending on whether it's a first-time home buyer, someone that's retiring, someone that might be having a new baby that's outgrown the house that they're in. But these are questions you need to ask. Are you paying cash or are you looking to finance? Have you been pre-approved yet? What's your timeline? Those are the right questions to be asking so that you can qualify your client or your potential client in the right way, putting them in the right category so that you know when they are actually looking to buy or sell. Guys, it's about listening. You have to listen to their responses. Get them talking as much as you possibly can and shut your mouth because you need to listen to what they're trying to tell you. You're going to learn so much more and so much faster by listening instead of speaking yourself. And if you listen the right way, the lead will tell you exactly what they want, what their needs are, and what their problems are, okay? Then you can start qualifying this buyer at this time. Once you've gotten those right questions, you'll be able to eliminate what I call the 5 no's, right? What are those 5 no's? No money, no time, no need, no urgency, or no trust, right? Any one of those that might pop up and you're not going to be able to convert this lead to a client. Now, some of these are issues that you can't get past right now. Some of the no money is a big issue. If they don't have the money, they can't buy. It doesn't matter how much they want to, they can't buy. The no time, well, that's why you're here. You're here to help facilitate that process. So the no time objection is going to, if you convert them the right way, it'll take that objection right out. If they don't have a need for what you're offering, then they're not going to buy. You can't make them have a need. They have to be able to figure that out for themselves. If they have a need for what you have to offer, they will buy. No urgency. The no urgency thing is someone that's just very comfortable where they're at. But it is a big issue if they don't have an urgency to buy. In real estate right now, the market that we're in, both of our markets, is still a big seller's market, which means properties go very, very fast. So buyers have to have an urgency. If there is no urgency right now, they're not going to buy. They're not going to be able to get a home that they want because homes that are priced right come on the market within a week. They're under contract. No trust. The no trust aspect is probably one of the biggest reasons people don't buy from salespeople. They just don't. They just don't trust them. Look, people look at salespeople as like evil people for some reason, right? And that's because a lot of salespeople are shady, they're slimy, they're grimy, whatever it is, right? So you have to build that trust with people in order to make them feel comfortable to work with you. In real estate, for some reason, and I know why, but we are looked at basically the devil's spawn, and we're the second worst next to used car salespeople for some reason. But it's our job and my team's job to really present ourselves and show these people and these buyers and these sellers why they can trust us and what our role is. Look, we're not here just to make a buck. Yes, we do this for a living, and ultimately we have to make money doing it. But it's our job to uphold our clients' fiduciary responsibility and put their best interests at heart ahead of anything else. And we sign contracts stating that. So those are the 5 no's, right? Those are the reasons why people won't buy. So let's talk about step number 4, because we've covered the first 3 in depth here pretty good. Step 4 is where you're going to present your offer, right? You're going to present the solution to the problem. Based on what you've learned in the identify stage, you are now qualified to present your offer, your solution, your product, whatever it might be, to the potential buyer. Or in real estate, also seller. Make sure it solves their problems and needs. If it doesn't solve their problems and needs, guys, they are not going to buy, and you're going to look like you weren't listening to them at all, because they have no need for it, right? By this time, you should start building that trust level, and you don't want to ruin everything that you've done prior to this. So don't try to close them at this stage, guys. It's still too early. You need to still show them and walk them through. You got to lead them and guide them and explain to them how this solves their problems and fills their needs. Objections will start to come up usually at this point. Those objections go back to the 5 no's, and sometimes even deeper into some objections, such as, okay, I have some money, but this is too expensive for me, whatever it might be, right, guys? You have to manage those objections the best you can. Handle them as they come up. Use what you learned from the identify the need stage to provide explanations and overcome any objections the lead may have. This is very important. If you can't handle those objections, guys, you're not going to close the client. It could be a short phase or a long phase. It just depends on how motivated the potential buyer is. And it's your job as a salesperson to get that potential buyer excited, right? You got to build that excitement so that their motivation is a lot higher than it would be otherwise. Again, don't try to close too quickly here, but you're moving towards that closing stage, guys. These are all stages that are very, very important. And again, sometimes and a lot of times what I see is people try to close way too early, and that's when they lose the client. And so let's move on to the last step here, guys. Last step is closing the sale. Once all your objections have been handled, now you can start to close the sale. This needs to be done in a way that makes it feel natural for the potential buyer, makes them feel comfortable, but in the back of your mind and the underlying goal here is to close them. Sometimes the assumptive close will work. I use the assumptive close a lot because I feel comfortable with the assumptive close based on working every single step that I've worked up to that point to be able to use the assumptive close. If I don't feel it's gonna work, some of the other closes that I use, sharp angle close, the something for nothing close, right? Giving them something additional on top of what you're already offering them at no additional cost to get them to buy and close the deal. The opinion close, the direct close, the solicit objection close. This is where you're going to purposely solicit any sort of other objections they might have. And guys, there's a whole long list of different types and different styles of closing. Some people are going to be more comfortable with some versus others. It just really comes down to what you're comfortable with. Now, let's talk about reasons why you're losing the sale, specifically now that we've covered all 6 of the steps in detail, right? Okay, so we've broken down the sales process. Let's talk about why you're losing the sale, right? You're not making the call. You just simply aren't making the calls and the follow-ups needed when you get the lead to be able to convert them. Guys, This is like number one reason why people don't convert new leads is because they are not making the initial call or follow up immediately after they get the new lead. Consumers attention span is like that big anymore, right? With everything they have going on, their cell phones, their emails, their tablets, their computers, whatever it might be, right? Their attention span's like this big, so you need to capture them when they are still considering what they've inquired about while it's still top of mind. So especially in real estate, if you get a lead coming in, we have basically less than 3 minutes to do that initial outreach call. And it's that important because you need to catch them while they still have what they've just done or are still doing top of mind. The second reason is not continuing your follow-up. If you don't get a hold of them that first time, guys, you need to continuously follow up later. And that means if you didn't get a hold of them by that first phone call, okay, now you need to shoot them a text. Now you need to shoot them an email. Now you need to find them on Facebook and send them a message. Now you need to find them on LinkedIn and send them a message. You got to follow up so that you can continuously try to get in front of them. If you're not doing that and you're not following up not only after the initial outreach, but every day after that, at least for the next 10, 15 days, you are going to not convert that lead and ultimately leaving business on the table. One of the biggest things that I see besides those first two is not using all forms of touch points available. And that means you're not using every form of outreach possible to get in front of your potential new client, your lead, right? So this is one is if you even make contact on the initial outreach, a lot of people still aren't doing this yet. You have to. And this applies more to phone or online leads than in person, but could also apply to in-person prospects such as car dealerships, motorcycle dealerships, whatever it might be, right? So what are we talking about here? We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Instagram. We're talking about Twitter. We're talking about LinkedIn, email, text, phone, door knocking, direct mail. Every possible form of touch point that you could think of, you need to be using. And you need to be doing it during that 10 days of pain. It's an amazing form of lead conversion, especially for online leads, because it's a high-touch, aggressive tool that's used to identify the motivation levels of these leads, gather additional contact information so that these leads can be classified and converted into appointments, which ultimately you're able to convert then into actual paying customers or clients. What's the next one? Not building the relationship. Guys, sales is all about relationship building. It's one of the biggest reasons you're going to ultimately lose the sale and not able to close it is because you don't spend enough time nurturing that relationship, building trust, and you're trying to close too soon. Stop it. Guys, it's so important to build that relationship. It's so easy to try to fast track stuff, right? And if you're fast tracking the process, you're going to lose that person because you haven't built that trust, right? Trust we talked about earlier. It's one of the biggest things here, guys. It's so important to build that trust factor. Not asking for the sale. Guys, it's simple. If you don't ask for the sale, most of the time you're not going to get it. And this is where a lot of real estate agents fall into. This is the category of the step that most real estate agents fall into because they're just waiting for the cream of the crop to land in their lap, right? They're not actively prospecting. They're not actively working their leads, actively working to convert them. They're just looking for the cream of the crop to fall in their lap. And that's why 95% of all real estate is sold by the 5% of the agents like me and my team is because we are just aggressive and active at building our pipeline and asking for that sale to convert clients. One of the last reason that we talk about is really not being able to clearly explain how your solution helps the buyer's needs. You can't clearly explain how you're solving that client's issue. Without being able to solve the client's issue, you're not going to get the sale, right? So, guys, these are all important things that you have to really think about throughout the whole sales process. And if you don't look at yourself as a salesperson, especially real estate agents, then I guarantee you're missing a lot of these steps. These steps are key to taking a lead and converting it to a closed client. And so this is one of the biggest issues, and that's why we're talking about it in depth here, in helping agents, real estate agents, and salespeople close more business, increase their closed business, increase their pipeline, and ultimately do more business, make more money, and live a better life. Really, when it comes down to it, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I have the guide for you guys. If you want to shoot me a message or leave a comment, I'd be happy to email you this guide for you so that you can kind of use it as a cheat sheet. You can also send me an email, ms@matthewsimmons.com. Check us out online, guys. I'm happy to help you. If you'd like to talk a little bit more in depth with me one-on-one about this, shoot me a message as well. You can leave a comment or shoot me a message on Facebook, and be happy to reach out to you and talk with you a little bit more. If you guys want to learn how to build those inbound lead pipelines, it's something that we definitely specialize in, as well as converting those. Reach out to me. Be happy to talk with you and kind of talk to you about the steps to setting that up, what the cost involved is, and what you can expect as far as number of leads on a daily basis, as well as closing ratios, etc. We set up some agents recently over the last week or so that are already converting some of their new inbound Facebook leads, social media leads, into actual clients, and putting them under contract on properties in a matter of a week and a half. And at an average cost, and an average lead cost of about $2.85. Guys, that's crazy low. The conversion rate's great. It's amazing. So do the math yourself. $2.85. You spend $5 a day, $8 a day, $10 a day. You're getting a couple leads a day. And if your conversion ratio is right around 20, 25, 30%, guys, just think about how much more business you can do. Anyways, reach out to me, MatthewSimmons.com. It's MatthewSimmons.com. Check my team out at MattSimmons.com, MattSimmons.com. And we are the Matt Simmons Group, serving both the Western Pennsylvania and Southern Florida markets. Guys, have an amazing Wednesday, and we'll see you next Wednesday.